A Rooster's Tale, written and illustrated by Catherine Maids. Crack, crack, crack. 3 little chicks struggled out of their eggshells. After a few minutes they were dry and covered in a downy fluff. 2 of them were solid yellow in color, and 1 had some dark markings. With a few strenuous attempts, they were up and walking, trying to balance as they toddled towards the water and food provided for them. They were very hungry. Their mother hen was so proud of her new brood. She looked forward to teaching them by example how to grow into strong and healthy chickens. For many days, the chicks played hide and seek and other poultry games. As they grew, they watched their mother, carefully copying everything she did. When she scratched, kicking up the dirt with her feet, they scratched. When she drank cool water from the shallow pond, so did they. When she roosted for the night in her nest box, they knew it was time for sleep. She told them that in the future they would need to wake up early in the morning so they could lay their eggs before breakfast time. Mother explained that only some of the eggs would become chicks. Most of them were needed by the people who looked after them to either use or sell. At your maturity, she said, expect to produce about 1 egg per day. As time passed, the chicks' appearance began to change. Larger feathers pushed out from the downy coats with which they were born. Their legs grew longer, beaks thicker, and flight feathers protruded from their wings. 2 of these teenage chicks closely resembled each other. The third just seemed different somehow. Maybe a bit bigger, and there was a strange lumpy ridge at the top of its head. They were always thought of as 3 cute little hens, so the trio were given female names: Blanche, Rose, and Dorothy. They were referred to as Rhode Island Reds, a breed of chickens that appear in several different colors. Sure enough, now fully fledged, Rose was blossoming with golden red feathers. Blanche was mostly powdery white, and Dorothy was a combination of the 2. Blanche and Rose were always together, pecking the ground for seeds and generally entertaining themselves. Dorothy wasn't invited to pal around with them anymore. She even heard them whispering about her as she walked by. She felt lonesome and rejected by her siblings. Rose and Blanche had advanced with success to egg-laying and received much praise for their accomplishment, laying brown and tan-colored eggs in the soft, clean straw. Dorothy hurried to catch up with them, scrambling clumsily into her own nest box. Imitating her sisters, she turned around and assumed an egg-laying pose and pushed. Nothing happened. I'll try again, Dorothy thought. Again, nothing. Okay, she sighed with determination. 1 more push. Uh-oh. Still no egg. Only poop! Embarrassed and utterly defeated, Dorothy snuck out of the coop, pretending as if nothing had happened. And actually, it hadn't. Nothing good, anyway. Rose and Blanche guessed something was afoul and casually slipped back into the chicken coop to investigate. Outside, Dorothy, Mother Hen, and anyone in earshot could hear the strong cackling of laughter coming from inside. "Poop! Nothing but poop!" they cried. Poor Dorothy was mortified. Eventually, the memory of the attempted egg-laying incident faded away, and one sunny morning Dorothy was simply strolling around the yard when she felt a yawn coming on. She innocently opened her mouth to comply. Then, out of the blue came a sound that can only be described as a cross between a rusty screen door hinge, an old-fashioned car horn, and a bullfrog with a sore throat. Yikes! At first, Dorothy didn't realize that terrible noise had come out of her. But, gasp! When she looked down, her beak was wide open and everyone was staring straight at her. Immediately, she closed her mouth. Humiliated, she felt like running and hiding, but there was no place to go. She was surrounded. She could do nothing but close her eyes and make all of them disappear. Maybe I'll faint if I hold my breath long enough, Dorothy hoped. Then a familiar voice spoke. Open your eyes and breathe, my dear. The voice was that of the mother who had so lovingly raised her. We have all been assuming you were a hen, so we hadn't noticed that clearly you were born to be a rooster. Dorothy confided, Mother, I tried to fit in. I wanted to be like my sisters, but inside I never really felt like I was. Who am I? I would ask myself when I was alone. But I didn't know the answer. I'm so sorry, Mother confessed. Until I heard your awkward attempt at crowing, I didn't realize who you were either. Now I know. You are perfectly yourself, a young rooster that needs a new name. For some reason, Mother, I've always liked the name Bruce, he said with a smile. It's short, yet strong, and to the point. Bruce it is, his mother agreed. Let's let everyone know who you will be called from now on. Somehow, simply by acknowledging his true identity, all the fear and worry and embarrassment melted out of Bruce. A feeling of confidence made his chest broaden. His tail feathers shot up like church spires. The comb on the top of his head and the wattle beneath his beak grew larger and brighter red. As the weeks passed, he practiced crowing until the sound was acceptable to all. The sisters whom he had greatly admired became his close and loyal friends. All seemed calm and happy around the backyard coop. Then, just when you thought things in the story were going along smoothly, danger struck. A hawk silently swooped down from the sky and attacked Blanche. Bruce came running to her defense. The hawk was strong and more experienced and managed to pin Bruce to the ground. Bruce, using his heavier weight and sheer determination, was able to break free. Tumbling to right himself, he puffed out his neck and chest feathers to look more powerful. He glared down fiercely into the eyes of the hawk until it fortunately flew off. Whew. Blanche had a few missing feathers and a small wound on her wing, which required a little bit of first aid. She was ruffled and frightened, but otherwise unharmed. Bruce was bleeding a bit, but stubbornly refused medical attention. Meanwhile, afraid to watch, Rose listened to all the drama from her hiding place. The seriousness of this frightening event made all three of them aware of the sometimes very harsh realities of life. The truth is, the hawk had her two young nestlings to feed and was only following her natural instincts. She couldn't go to the grocery store or count on human beings to feed her, as the chickens did. This time, because of Bruce's bravery, the hawk would have to hunt elsewhere. From then on, to keep everyone safe, Bruce became a sentinel, a guard calling out special warning alarms to signal whenever a hawk flew overhead, or if a red fox would wander close by. He also took on other responsibilities. He would search for tasty morsels in the grass and offer them to the hens to eat. He provided shelter from the rain for the new chicks, his offspring, by spreading his wings over them like a big umbrella so they wouldn't become waterlogged. And each evening, before dusk, he made sure everyone was nestled snugly inside the coop to sleep soundly through the night. This ends A Rooster's Tale. The real-life Bruce, whose antics inspired this story, lives with Wendy on the North Fork of Long Island. If visitors stop to see them, he'll strut back and forth, resplendent in all his feathered glory. Every morning, no matter the season, whatever the weather, even if the sun is not quite ready to get up yet, Bruce tosses back his head, opens his beak up wide, and crows at the top of his lungs, just like a good rooster should.